This episode is sponsored by ODP Business Solutions, built to address all your facility needs. Visit odpbusiness.com today. Today, we're diving into a platform that nearly every professional uses, but not everyone uses it to its full potential. I'm speaking about LinkedIn. And you know what that is. It's the modern day Rolodex, the networking hub and business development powerhouse that we all embrace. And if you don't embrace it, this episode might be for you as well to convince you to use it. So whether you're prospecting for leads, partnerships, or just looking to build meaningful business relationships, there's a right way and a wrong way to show up on this platform. And joining me today is Troy Harrison, who is a frequent user of LinkedIn. I bet Troy has used it today.
You would be correct. I have.
I figured you did. So, Troy, welcome to the program. Glad to talk about this. What an important topic when we think about LinkedIn and using it right.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And it is an important topic, and it's timely too. What we're going to talk about today is one of the things that I'm going to be talking about in my session at the ISSA show in November. At the ISSA show, I'm giving a program called How to Prospect in 2025 and Beyond. And LinkedIn is a piece of that. And it's funny, I just read an article in another industry magazine that wasn't written by me. And the article had a sales trainer that outlines a weekly prospecting cadence for salespeople, and the term LinkedIn was never mentioned in it. The term social media was never mentioned in it. I mean, they literally outlined foot prospecting still, and I'm going, okay, guys, welcome to 1995. LinkedIn, if you are not using LinkedIn as a sales tool in 2025, you are getting your butt kicked by people who are. Period. Dot. End of conversation. Bottom line. I can't be emphatic enough about that. But even when we say I use LinkedIn or I'm on LinkedIn, what does that really mean? Well, there's a lot of ways to do it right and there's a lot of ways to do it wrong. Here's what you need to know. You and I have talked about quite a bit about selling to younger generations. That's a continuing theme of my work, and it will continue to be a theme. What I think a lot of people of a certain age, and by the way, I count myself in that age, so, I resemble that remark. But what a lot of people don't realize is to younger generations, to the millennial and to the Gen Zs, LinkedIn gives you legitimacy. One thing that we see, and I'll talk about this more in my session at the show, is that when we leave teleprospecting messages for people, a lot of those younger people are going to look us up on LinkedIn. And what they're really looking for is to see, is this a legit, real, breathing human adult being? And do they really do what they claim they do? And if your LinkedIn profile is not there, if you're not active on LinkedIn and it's not robust, you're going to seem not legitimate to these people. So now let's define our terms. What does it mean to have a quality profile? Well, first of all, it's got to have a professional headshot. Okay, and by professional headshot, I don't mean you standing there holding up a fish, right? It's got to have a professional headshot that represents you as a professional person. Those aren't that hard to find. They aren't that hard to get. They're not expensive. But you need one. Second of all, you need to have a tagline that talks about who you are and what you're all about. And by the way, that tagline shouldn't sound like the job objective or summary on a resume. In other words, results-oriented sales professional with 18 years of background selling industrial supplies. Your your tagline should be about how you help your customers. I help my customers solve their cleaning needs, etc., etc. And then obviously you want your resume fairly well filled out of where you work, where you have worked, and that should be up to date. I encountered a client last week that has a salesperson who's been there for a year and a half, but the most recent job on their LinkedIn profile is their past job that they held before then. And I said, man, you got to fix that right now. And I said, and I defined my terms there too. I said, when I mean right now, I mean like in the next 5 minutes before I walk out of this office. That's again, that makes you seem not legitimate. If you're prospecting for one company, somebody goes to your LinkedIn and it says you work for a different company. Nah, that doesn't fly. Then there's another level. You've got to have activity because when somebody goes to your LinkedIn profile, they can see what you have done on LinkedIn. You would be amazed, Jeff, and I've been doing a lot of job interviews for my clients recently. I've got several clients in a hiring phase and I'm coaching them, so I'm part of their hiring processes. You would be amazed at how many salespeople that say that they use LinkedIn and then I go to their LinkedIn profile and it says they've never posted anything. Some of them, it says they've never commented or never reacted. What that tells me is that they threw up a LinkedIn profile and called it good. No, you need to be actively posting on LinkedIn. You need to be engaging with content that your connections post. And engaging with content means liking it, commenting on it, sharing it if it's appropriate. And let's talk about a little hierarchy here. Here's something a lot of salespeople don't know. LinkedIn's algorithms are all about controlled visibility. Uh, and what I mean by that is this. LinkedIn doesn't want people spamming up the platform. It's different than Facebook in that request, or in that respect. Facebook makes its money mostly from advertising. LinkedIn makes most of its money from users and selling the premium and sales navigator and job search features. What that means is that LinkedIn wants their platform to be relatively clean of spam content. One way they control that is this. You can post as many posts per day as you want to, but only your first is going to get actual visibility to your contacts. So I recommend that I like to see salespeople post a minimum of 3 times per week, but those need to be on 3 different days, not all on one day, because nobody's going to see the second and third or however many posts if you do them all in one day. So that's one thing. Those posts should be useful content. In other words, don't just share out a post that your company page posts and call it good. Sharing a company post is fine, but put a couple of paragraphs behind that. LinkedIn likes text-heavy posts, and those do get more reactions. Remember, your goal is to get reactions and engagement from your contacts, and then to give reaction and engagement to your contacts. So, what I recommend that sales managers implement right now is a cadence of having your salespeople spend 20 to 30 minutes per day on LinkedIn. And the easiest way to do that is just have LinkedIn as their default screen when they open up their browser, when they fire up their computer. You can also do it on a phone app, that's okay. I like a browser window simply because I'm a lot quicker typing with my fingers than with my thumbs. Uh, and start your day by spending 20 to 30 minutes. It's about a couple hours a week, maybe 2.5 hours a week. You'd be shocked at how much engagement and posting you can get done in 2.5 hours per week. And why do we engage with our people, with our connections posts? Simple. People post things to get attention. That's why we post things. When you engage, when you comment on somebody's post, when you like their post, when you share their post, they see a notification that says Jeff Cross liked your post. Well, that gives them that little dopamine hit. And it also builds a relationship with them without you even having to call them. Now that I've said that, let me say this. Here's the number one way that salespeople screw up LinkedIn. The number one way. They will send out a connection request to people or a bunch of connection requests. Somebody connects with them, and the very first thing they do is blast a hard sell message at them. 3 or 4 paragraphs about why you need to set an appointment. Look, people don't connect on LinkedIn to get hard sell messages right out of the gate. People connect on LinkedIn to network and to form relationships. LinkedIn prospecting is a slow play, and you need to treat it that way. When somebody connects, send them a soft message. Hey, welcome to my network. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. You can follow in if, you know what, if I can be of any help, I'd love to hear from you. Then engage with their stuff, start building that relationship, and then maybe 60 days down the line, then you can send them a request for an appointment, and you have a lot more chance of getting it than if you carpet bomb them right away. So, in a very quick fashion, That's a quick tutorial about making the most out of LinkedIn.
As the modern workplace evolves, organizations must evolve as well. They need a partner that understands this new world of work. We are that partner. We are ODP Business Solutions, formerly Office Depot Business Solutions Division. More than just office supplies, ODP is a force for change, helping address technology transformation, sustainability, innovative workspace design, cleaning, break room, and more, making organizations everywhere say, oh, when they see how much more we can do. ODP Business Solutions.
I was going to ask about that automated message when you get a connection because I dislike those, Troy. And when I see them coming, I ignore them. Once in a while, I'll read them. And it's funny, they don't ever look at my profile to see what I do. I've been offered all kinds of things.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Well, I had two of those types of messages last week.
mhm.
Both were selling services that might have done me some good. And the first one I got, I sent back a message, and matter of fact, I know exactly what this was. They were trying to get me to engage them to get me booked on TEDx talks. I'm not really a TED Talk kind of speaker. I'm more of a subject matter expert, but what the hell? So I sent her back a message, and I said, "Look, your message is very generic. Uh, it tells me that you really don't know anything about what I do, but I'm going to give you uh, a question. What is it on my profile that specifically told you that I am a good prospect for your services?" And she responds back with, "I'm glad you asked. Leaders like you," more generic crap, right? The second one was selling video production services. In other words, doing things like making speaker demo reels and that kind of thing. Hey, mea culpa, right? I've been in this business 20 years. I've never had a professionally done speaker demo reel. So, yeah. But again, generic. And I messaged her back and I said, "All right, here's a challenge for you. Because you obviously haven't read my profile, but I'm easy to figure out. I
Mhm.
want you, here's the challenge. Read my profile, go to my website, find something specific, and then tell me why I'm a prospect for
Oh, you're
services."
making her work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in 2 hours, I got a critique of two of my articles and homing in on the idea that a demo reel would be good. And by the way, here's a couple of pieces of video content from YouTube that I'd like you to expand on. I got an appointment with her tomorrow. So I'm not completely closed door,
Okay.
but
It has to make sense.
it has to make sense.
Yeah.
And if you do this generic stuff now, and okay, I'm going to go this far too. I do use an automated platform sometimes to send out connection requests, but I do them in a very targeted way. So these are people, second degrees, they are people who are very good logical connections for me. And I do have an automated message, but my automated message is simply, "Hey, thank you for connecting. Welcome to my network. Looking forward to getting to know you. And if I can be of any help, let me know." And that's it.
Hmm.
And from that point on, every engagement they have with me is personal.
Yeah. I love the ones where they message me and want to sell me a service or something that's business to consumer.
Yo,
Like
right?
we have these homeowners that I'm like, you don't, we don't deal with that. It's not our core audience, but that's what cold calling's about. And cold calling can be done good or bad, I would imagine.
Well, it can. And we're going to talk about how to do it right
Hmm.
in Las Vegas because I have a template that I use. Matter of fact, anybody who's watching this who plans on attending my session, and if you are engaged in sales in any fashion in this industry, you need to be at my session. I want to pack that room because it's going to be great stuff. Here's pre-work for you. Watch the movie The Princess Bride. That's all I'm going to give you.
Oh, I've watched it a hundred times. Well, maybe
I
not.
love that movie. I watched it on the plane home from Vancouver last week, but it's good pre-work for this session. But
Okay.
in this session, we're going to cover the gamut of prospecting. We are going to talk about cold call teleprospecting because it still can and should be a very vital and viable part of a prospecting mix. but it's not the whole thing. We're going to blow up a few myths about prospecting, and we are going to spend time on LinkedIn, and we're going to create a cohesive strategy that people can use to generate a reliable flow of new prospects. And we're going to do it in my favorite place in the country, which is Las Vegas, and quite honestly, at my favorite hotel, which is the Mandalay Bay. I couldn't be more excited.
Your session, if it's that good, it's not going to allow people to take their naps.
No, no nap time, nap in the hallway outside before and or after, but no, be on game during that hour.
Troy, I look forward to it. Great topic you'll present at the ISSA show, and we'll no doubt have more content before that happens to
Oh
share
yeah.
more details.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Jeff. I've enjoyed this one.